Welcome back to All About America's Team, brought to you by Delahanty Media. I am your host, Ray Nickens, joined with, as always,
Owen Chico.
and if this is your first time listening to us, welcome. This is a great week to start, as the Dallas Cowboys will be traveling to Arrowhead to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. This will be Dallas's first test since week one when they lost on a game-winning field goal to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And we are really excited to talk about this matchup. But before we begin this pregame, Owen, take us through the injury tent and any other news.
So Tyron Smith should play. He went through some minor work through and he should go, but I think today he's going to go through a simulated game and they'll determine how that's going to go. And I think the best piece of news today was that Connor Williams, or as Ray calls him, UT Connor, will not be starting next week, this Sunday. Connor McGovern, who is a fan favorite, who plays fullback half the time, who has been a hot commodity around the NFL, and Dallas for some reason has declined to trade him, which I'm a big fan of, will be in to start at left guard, which I'm looking forward to. And hopefully they can do more of these jumbo packages with Connor Williams in, because Connor Williams, he's been better every year. He improves, but most of them are in the fourth quarter. He leads the league in penalties, and a lot of them are costly. And he hasn't lost a game for us yet, but he's come pretty darn close to them. And I think he had one big penalty against the Patriots that Dallas was over to overcome. And I think it was a throw to CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper that brought us. They had a first down, but I'm looking forward to it. And besides that, Kelvin Joseph will not be playing due to the passing of his uncle, so hopefully Kelvin Joseph and his family can recover mentally over these hard times over the next few days, and hopefully whenever Kelvin feels that he's mentally back to play, he'll be back and he'll be able to contribute to a winning football team. DeMarcus Lawrence should be coming back December, and hopefully Randy Gregory will be able to come back then as well. And for the first time since week one, Dallas will have a fully healthy defense. So I think that's it for news and everything like that. Just besides that, Jerry Jones hates Mike McCarthy. The usual, always stepping on his toes, always doing the exact opposite of what Mike McCarthy says to do. But, usual Jerry Jones nonsense.
So, based on what you're saying with the Connor McGovern story, they are not listening to Jerry?
No, they are. McGovern's going to start.
So, Jerry wanted McGovern to start.
Mike didn't want to give the Chiefs like what's gonna happen. From what I know, he was like, oh yeah, well, they're both gonna play because they usually both play. But then Jerry, on his 103.5 was like, yep, McGovern's gonna start, and Mike just must just slam his head against the wall every single time. That could happen a few times this year.
Well, I would feel bad for Mike McCarthy, but I don't feel bad for Mike McCarthy because he knew what he was signing up for when he took this job. He was just going to be the puppet for the puppet master, Jerry Jones. He was going to be the scapegoat on the field while Jerry Jones makes all the decisions up in his estate during the game. Unfortunately, he can't be on the field because then it would give too much away that he's actually the head coach, but that is a completely different story for another day. But yeah, I'm glad that McGovern is getting a chance to play. It will give us kind of an idea of what he can do in that position. So happy to see him out there, and I'm glad that the defense is close to getting healthy because they need all the help they can get come playoff time.
Yeah,
But
I would love to see Jerry Jones coach the Dallas Cowboys for a season just to see how he would do.
I think he would do a whopping 5-12.
Just solid.
I mean, with this schedule that we've had so far, he might go 8-9, but who knows? But
Yeah.
anyway, let's move on. Let's get into the main event of the show, which is Cowboys Chiefs. So on today's schedule, we will talk a little bit about some key matchups, the Tyreek Hills of the world, Trayvon Diggs of the world, Dak Prescott of the world. We'll just kind of get into those individual matchups and give our thoughts on how they can shape up the outcome of the game. Then we'll move on to our game plan, where we'll go into a little bit of how the Cowboys can get this win. what things they'll have to do to stop the Chiefs' offense, and just kind of break down our opinions on what they should do to get the win. And then finally, we'll just end off on our version of Sunday Pick'em, where Owen has been quite excellent at that. That's one of the things I was very shocked about, is that he's beaten me the last 2 weeks with those. So hopefully I'll be able to get on a good run this week, and then whenever we do it next, I'll also win there. So let's get into the show and talk some key matchups. So the Chiefs are a very explosive offense, and they have a lot of fast guys, Tyreek Hill being the main guy that you have to account for. He is able to burn you in any way, shape, or form if you're not careful. Then they also have Travis Kelce, who's going to work the middle of the field and be that dump-off guy for Patrick Mahomes. So, Owen, I'll let you start. What key matchups are you looking to be a huge impact in this game, and how potentially could the Cowboys stop those matchups for the Chiefs, or vice versa? How can the Chiefs win those matchups on their side?
It's a very good question. I think that the biggest matchups here is going to be, I think that they're going to have Diggs on Kelce like they had when we played Atlanta. Diggs kind of covered Pitts for a good portion of the game. And Chris Jones, they have him listed as a defensive end. I think he's a defensive tackle. I'm not really sure. I've heard that he can play both. So wherever he plays, minimizing his impact is going to be really, really huge. Stopping Darrell Williams, I'm sure everyone saw his very wide receiver-esque catch on Jonathan Abrams, I believe, number 24 for the Raiders. And that play should have been an interception, but it's not what we're going to talk about right now. So stopping him and just putting pressure on Mahomes. If you can do two high safeties and put pressure on Mahomes and make Mahomes move around, because Mahomes is trusting his arm more than he trusts his eyes. And there was a quote that he said after his rookie or sophomore year where he was like, I don't even know how to read defenses. He just throws. And that's, if you're doing that well, just being able to throw the ball, then that's great. But especially this year, defenses have kind of figured out how to stop him. And I think the biggest way to do that is just stop Kelce. You can have Hill run all over, but if you can double cover him and have kind of like that triangle, like they had on Pitts, then you'll be fine. Because I'll read some stats. Dallas is leading in points per game. Kansas City is leading in points allowed, so their defense gives up more points. Dallas averages more yards per game. Kansas City has more yards allowed per game, and it's Dallas does allow more pass yards, but Kansas City makes up for it with their rush defense not really being the greatest. So going off of that, just give the ball to Zeke and Pollard a lot, hopefully on the opposite side of Chris Jones. And I think that's one of the biggest ways you win this game. Keep Patrick Mahomes and company off the field, and hopefully early on go up a few scores and have Mahomes try to play some hero ball, because I think that's definitely how you win, if you make him throw the ball a lot. And especially with their star running back, Edwards-Helaire, being on the IR, this is definitely going to be a good game to take a win. And if Dallas can somehow win this game, or not somehow, but if they can end up winning this game, then I think the other teams will give them the respect that they deserve. And because this is definitely the best offense that they've played. Tampa Bay was the best defense. This is definitely the best offense. So hopefully they'll be able to get some respect off that. But that is what I have for key matchup wise, and I'm sure you have a lot more than I do.
Yeah, just really quickly, on your comment on Mahomes saying he doesn't really know how to read defenses, I'm sure in his 4th or 5th year, he's probably figured out how to read a coverage. But I think it's just what happens when you're Mahomes, is that when your defense is as atrocious as it is, you're taking a lot more chances than you. Well, I guess in his case, he's taking a lot of chances anyway. But he's taking more chances than he usually does, and it's turning into interceptions. But I think last week was a big moment for Mahomes in the sense that he wasn't taking as many chances. He took a lot of underneath stuff, and they were able to benefit off that and beat the Raiders pretty handedly, who did have a big upset win earlier on in the year. So the Raiders can show up and beat anyone, and as the Cowboys have the Raiders Thanksgiving, so we'll see how that game goes. But we're
Yeah.
on the Chiefs right now. But
He just to say one thing, he said it in a Bleacher Report interview right after they lost the Super Bowl, and so I guess it's
which was his
halfway
second
through.
year.
Yeah, halfway through last year. So his third season, his second season as a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't know how to read defenses in the NFL, you're not gonna be a while for a long time. I don't care who you are. So I I I would hope it was a joke, and if it's not a joke, then he's probably an alien. So we'll just leave it at that. But anyway, I don't think that Trayvon Diggs is going to be on Kelsey. I think since Kyle Pitts was their best player on offense, their best weapon, they put Trayvon Diggs on him. I think they're going to put Trayvon Diggs on Tyreek Hill probably, just because he's been following the best guy all year, and they're probably going to give him some safety help every time. So he's always going to have safety help on Tyreek, and then they're going to try and match up everywhere else. Because really, the Chiefs, other than Tyreek Hill and Kelsey, they don't really have another great wide receiver. They have Hardman, and then Josh Gordon, who's an afterthought, and Robinson, I believe, is the other receiver. But I don't think really the only way the Chiefs are going to beat you is with Kelsey or Tyreek Hill. So if the Cowboys can match up well with those two guys, then they shouldn't really have much of a problem winning this football game. Other than that, I think it's going to be really great to get Tyron Smith back. I think the Cowboys are going to have having their O-line at full strength is going to be great. They're going to be able to move Terrence Steele back over to right tackle where he belongs.
Collins is going to start at right tackle. Steele will be on the bench.
Okay, then. Looks like Steele's reign of terror is over. So
He'll be a swing tackle.
Lyle Collins will be right tackle, and Tyron Smith will be playing left tackle. And that's going to be the first time that their offense is going to be healthy, or their guys that they planned on starting are going to be healthy. Other than, I guess, no, because Zach Martin, who didn't play week 1, Zach Martin.
No, they all played week 1. Martin missed the Chargers game, I believe.
Okay,
so this is the first time since week 1, because after week 1, Collins was suspended.
Okay, yeah. So this is the perfect game to have all your linemen, because Dak's going to be protected, and I don't think the Chiefs are going to be able to get to Dak very much based on their weak defensive line and linebacking core. Anthony Hitchens, he's a familiar face for us Cowboys fans, as he used to play linebacker for us back in the 2014, 2015 days. So who knows? Maybe he'll get a little revenge on our team and get an interception. I kind of get that feeling that so-and-so is going to get a pick. I unfortunately did not get the Dak Prescott gets picked by Xavier Woods right, because he picked off Cooper Rush. So I didn't get that one right, but I'm having another one of those feelings that Anthony Hitchens might get a turnover this week. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens. Honestly, I think that the running game is going to be Dallas's best friend, because the best way to beat the Chiefs is to keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. So Ezekiel Elliott, this is going to be one of those games where he's going to get to earn his paycheck and carry this offense, keep Patrick Mahomes off the field, have those long sustaining drives, let Dak do what he does best, play keep away, get third downs, and then score touchdowns at the end of these drives, because keeping the Chiefs off the field is going to be our best chance of winning. So other than that, really, I don't really have any other key matchups. I think, like Owen said, the corners of the Chiefs, they're not very great. I don't know any of their names. All I know on that secondary is Tyrann Mathieu.
and
And
Daniel Sorensen or David Sorensen. And then you have Thornhill, who apparently is horrendous in
I
rush
do know
defense.
Thornhill.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted that man, but we took Tristan Hill, who did have a good game. Who did have a good game this past week after being the first time since he tore his ACL last season. But Sorensen always gets exposed in pass coverage, and apparently Thornhill can't tackle or play, or he's not a good run D safety. So it'll be interesting to see who plays out there. If for you and I, when we're texting on that game, whoever they have in Sorensen or Thornhill, it'll be interesting because Sorensen's usually out there he usually plays both, and I'm sure you've seen Shannon Sharp like rip him or tear him to shreds because of how horrendous he plays. But he's one of their veteran safeties. And going back to the Hitchens thing, I don't know if Hitchens is gonna have some bad blood because he's won some rings, but Woods has kind of got not cut. He didn't get re-signed when he thought he was going to. He was besides Awuzie, he was the only one that didn't get re-signed as well, which I'm kind of happy about. But it is back to you, sir.
Well, I mean, you don't really have to have big blood to get revenge and get an interception. So,
True.
I mean, Dak could just get the ball tipped and it can end up in Anthony Hitchens' hands, or Anthony Hitchens could just bait him into an interception.
Well, I mean, I don't
We
think
don't
he's
really
gonna like
know.
go into the game being like, I hate these guys.
No, but he's
Kinda
going to
like
go into the
kinda
game
like Woods
wanting
would.
to force a turnover for his team.
Oh, of course.
So,
Of course he would.
so that's kind of where I'm getting at. The
Yeah,
revenge will come with the turnover, in a sense. But anyway, so that's really it that I have for key matchups. I think really it's not really as much individual key matchups. It's more of defense side of the ball versus the offensive side of the ball. The Dallas Cowboys defense, a lot of people praise them. A lot of people think they're overrated. A lot of people think that their turnovers hide their weaknesses, and I think it's a little bit of everything. I think that the Dallas Cowboys defense, they deserve praise for making all these plays, completely flipping the script from last year where they were one of the worst teams at taking the ball away to now being one of the best teams at taking the ball away. They still struggle with giving up yards. They still struggle with stopping the run at times, and they can get beat. So it's going to be very interesting to see whether or not Trayvon Diggs is taking those chances in this game. Because I feel like if he's going to be, if he tries to play his way, his style of football and take the chances, then Tyreek Hill is going to have a few deep touchdowns, and it's really going to be hard for Dallas to come back from that as a team. Seeing Tyreek Hill just run down the field with the ball, maybe wave goodbye at Trayvon Diggs, who knows? But so we'll see. We'll see if Trayvon Diggs can kind of put himself second and just not take as many chances. Jordan Lewis has been playing a lot better. Anthony Brown, haven't really heard his name very much. That means he's doing his job. So really, really happy to see that the secondary is playing well. But as we saw against the Broncos, they can have trouble. And Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback than Teddy Bridgewater. He's the second best quarterback we faced really this entire season, maybe the best quarterback we faced all season. So this is going to be a true challenge for the Dallas Cowboys. And I think depending on this game is whether or not we should whether or not where our expectations should be set for the postseason. Because these are one of the games that the Cowboys have to win if they want me to call them a favorite for a championship. Because if they're not winning these playoff games, then I'm just going to say they're definitely a playoff team, but they're not going anywhere. So it's really important for the Cowboys to get this win, to have any sort of credibility.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Besides this game, I think the next hardest game on their schedule is probably going to be the Cardinal game. I might be wrong about that. It's Chiefs, Raiders, Saints, Washington, Giants, Washington, Cardinal. Yeah, so probably the hardest game is going to be Washington because the Saints have Simeon, who isn't that good, but it's probably going to be Cardinals and the Saints game are going to be the hardest. in the month of December. And Stephen A. Smith is notorious saying that Dallas can't play in December. So if you win those 2 games, then
Well, I mean, it's
I
not
think
really
that
just him. It's they've had a long stretch of
yes,
evidence where they've folded in December. So
yes,
while Stephen A. Smith is quite an annoying troll, he is right when it comes to December football for the Cowboys. November
he
is usually Dallas's best month, where they kind of set themselves up for December, and then they just do a little bit of this and then a little bit of this.
he
But
Stephen A. Smith picked so him and Dan Orlovsky, who I think is the worst commentator on the air, or not commentator, just worst person on air talking about sports. Stephen A. Smith said that he would rather take Dak over Patrick right now, which I thought
yeah,
was pretty interesting.
yeah. So I gotta go grab something. So I'm gonna give you the 4, and you can
Okay.
start your breakdown, and I'll be right back.
Okay. So I think that the to start off this game, the way that you win is to establish the run. Like I said earlier, Kansas City is not really that good against the run, and you should definitely give the ball to Zeke or Pollard or even CD if you want to get crazy on the other side of Chris Jones, because he could definitely take the game over. And you're definitely going to have at least 2 wide receivers, or one of your tight ends have over 80 to 100 yards. Because if you're keeping Patrick Mahomes off the field and not being able to play, then that's definitely the key to success. And you, like I said, you can't have many 3 and outs. Dak's gonna have to have a game like he did last week, and hopefully CD is definitely the Cowboys' best wide receiver yardage wise, and hopefully Amari can have a big game, because like Ray's been saying, Amari he's had 2 100-yard games on the road, and hopefully they will be able to have, or hopefully he will be able to have a similar kind of game, 70 to 90 or maybe even 100 yards if he has a really good game. And your O-line's going to have to be solid with McGovern going in. He's really going to have to step up and show everyone why he is the starter, or why he is deserving of a starting role. Because if he does not play well the first quarter, or even the first few drives, then expect Connor Williams to definitely go back in. And another thing is, Andy Reid he's a good coach, and Mike McCarthy, who is notorious every now and then having some questionable calls, and he's gotten better. He can't get out coached, because Reid is definitely known for being a winning coach, and he's won rings, and he's won championships in the past. And if, like Ray said, if Dallas wants to assert themselves as one of the top teams in the NFL, then you have to win this game. And this game may not seem like it's gonna be that big of a difficulty for Dallas, because of how bad Kansas City has been, what bad to what their expectations are. But they did win last week, and similar to how Dallas was like after the Broncos game, Kansas City's either gonna build on this W, or they're gonna crash back to earth and how they have been. And Mahomes is either going to have a 400-yard game, or he's going to play some hero ball. And hopefully it's the latter, and hopefully we can get some interceptions late game and apply some pressure. And like my next thing, then I'll give it a rate for his game plan. 2 best ways that I think teams have shown is play too high safety and get pressure. If the Giants can have Mahomes score less than 20 points, and if Daniel Jones was a good quarterback, and if that offense had a little better pieces on it, then they would have won that game. And Dallas is a much better team than the Giants are. So we're gonna see if Dallas plays up to the plays like as they should, or if they play down to the competition. And hopefully they have a game like last week where they just demolish the opponent. And that's what I'm looking for. And for my score prediction, I'm gonna have Dallas 24 to Kansas City's 21. So not I'd expect Kansas City to have a much better game, similar to last week, and hopefully, and Dak's gonna lead us on a game-winning drive with a field goal by Greg Zuerlein into as time expires.
Well, I got to hear the second half of that breakdown, and I think what's interesting is that you say that the Cowboys would be playing down to their competition if they were to lose this game. I think the Chiefs, while they have been struggling, the Chiefs are still they're pretty much they're a very similar team to the team that went to that Super Bowl last year. So this team is not to be underestimated. So that's the first thing I'm going to say. But second, I think what the Chiefs have won since they got embarrassed by the Titans. They've won 3 in a row. So they are kind of on a hot streak. They are 6-4. They are winning their division at this time. So I think the Chiefs are really looking for kind of getting this statement win. And I think what was great about the Raiders game for the Chiefs is that the Raiders, they played that shell coverage look, and the Chiefs were still able to put up 41 points. So I think that while being the Raiders are depleted and broken at this time, they've been through a lot as an organization this year. But I mean, it's still an example of the Chiefs kind of finally figuring out how to alternate their scheme. And so that's another thing. But I think what the Cowboys need to do to win is really simple. They have to control the clock and be big on those big third downs. So what the Cowboys defense has done a great job, and I'm gonna kind of dip my foot into the Owen way and mention a season that is not this season. Back in 2014, the Dallas Cowboys defense, they weren't the best defense. They weren't great, but they did a great job of getting off the field on critical downs. And I think this is what the Cowboys defense are doing this year, where they are giving up some big plays. They are making mistakes, but when they need to get off the field, they're going to get off the field. So I think that's going to be really crucial this week is when the Chiefs are in those 3rd and 5s, 3rd and 6s, 3rd and 3s, 3rd and 7s, etc. The Cowboys need to get off the field. Because if the Chiefs go 8 of 14 on 3rd down or 6 of 9 on 3rd down or whatever, the Cowboys are going to lose. Because the Chiefs are too good to be able to keep getting opportunities to drive the ball down the field. So that's the first thing. Second thing, I'm going to touch a little bit on the running game. I already did a little bit earlier. But I think the Cowboys are to win this game. They got to run the football well. And I think it's going to be pretty easily to do that. It's just about sticking to that game plan. It's going to be really easy, and it's going to be really easy for the Cowboys and Kellen Moore to want to throw the ball against the Chiefs just because the Chiefs are not very good in the secondary. But they have done a better job recently of kind of playing a little bit better on defense. They played a solid game against the Giants. The Giants aren't very good, but they still held them under 20 points. And they held the Raiders under 20 points. I'm not going to take any stock on the Packers game because Aaron Rodgers wasn't playing. But so I'm just going to throw that game out of it. But just against the Giants and the Raiders, they've done a better job on defense. The Cowboys are a completely different animal than those two teams, but the defense is coming in with a little bit of momentum to where if Dak throws the ball in harm's way, then they can capitalize on a turnover. And one thing you can't do against the Chiefs is turn the ball over because it gives Patrick Mahomes a short field and he's most likely going to cash it in. So I think running the football is going to be crucial, keeping the Chiefs out of rhythm, and then being big on 3rd down is also going to be a huge key to winning this game. Because if the Cowboys are 3 and 13 on 3rd down and the Chiefs are 8 of 15 on 3rd down, then the Chiefs are probably going to win. So I think 3rd down efficiency is important on both sides of the ball for the Cowboys, and then running the football is also going to be a really important aspect for them to win this game. And I'm going to say that the Chiefs are going to win this game 27-26, but it's not going to be because of the offense not doing anything. It's just going to be Patrick Mahomes gets the football last, and he's going to kick a field goal. Or not him. Harrison Butker is going to kick a field goal, and Chiefs are going to win.
Yeah, that's so you and I have similar score predictions. Obviously, different teams winning, but
Yeah.
kind of the Amari Cooper is on the COVID list.
Well, at least it came during the show. At least the news broke while we're recording.
I don't know what to say anymore, folks. Someone said Chiefs getting bailed out. That's funny. That doesn't change anything. That means Cedric Wilson can get some more reps, and it'll be able to spread the wealth. Hopefully,
Yeah,
Amari can
Amari
get
Cooper going down is not
no.
a devastating loss for the Cowboys because they still have Michael Gallup who's come back.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb is still there, and then Cedric Wilson just gets back into the starting lineup, and he's been making big plays for the Cowboys all year. He is the reason why they actually beat the Patriots earlier because of his circus catch.
Yeah.
So without him, they don't beat the Patriots. And the Patriots are looking like a Super Bowl contending team right now because of their defense.
Super Bowl contending. They
because
just played
defense.
But they also played the Falcons with Josh Rosen, someone else, and Matt Ryan. So they've been playing well.
But they also killed the Browns after
Browns are a
said
crap show.
it was said it was Odell's fault, and then Odell leaves, and then Baker Mayfield turns back into Baker Mayfield because he is quite an abomination.
The Browns are an interesting team, but I want to kind of dive into just one stat, and then we can, if you have anything else to say after that, we can move into what I'm looking forward to, the score predictions. So 2020 for the Kansas City Chiefs, Mahomes was sacked 22 times. And after running for 5 lengths of a football field, they went out and got some really good offensive line pieces. Now, what are we, halfway through the year so far?
Yes, a little bit more than half.
He has been sacked 17 times. So 5 less than he was all of last season. And he's going to have one more game, so he could definitely be sacked the most times in his career. He's tied with his 2019 sacks, and he has 9 less than his 2018 where he threw for 5,000 yards. So some of those 17 could be Mahomes running around trying to make some crazy things happen, or it could just be the offensive line collapsing. And it stinks that this game is happening with our 2 best defensive ends not playing. But hopefully Dorrance Armstrong and Micah Parsons, who's a need to have a big game, can go into this game and just put some pressure on Mahomes. I'm not saying get 4 or 5 sacks, just hit him a few times, get a few quarterback hits, and just make your presence known and have the safeties like Curse, KZ, Donovan Wilson, just have them play well. No missing tackles. And I think that's one way to definitely win this game is to just get some pressure in Mahomes' face. And if with Amari, I think that's definitely Greg Zuerlein had COVID. So I think that's definitely something that happened. So I'd only assume that Dallas probably will have some online meetings and some cleaning of the star. Because Greg got it and now Amari's got it. So
yeah. I mean, just to touch on the stat of Mahomes getting sacked more than last year. So since the season started, they played the Browns, Myles Garrett on the defensive front. They played the Ravens. The Ravens have a good defensive front. They played the Chargers, who have Joey Bosa, and Melvin Ingram for a time was there. Played the Bills. Bills are a great defensive front. And then they played the Titans, who destroyed them. They played the Packers, who have a pretty solid defensive front. And then that's about it. So they've been playing some football teams who have pretty solid defensive fronts. So that's probably why there's a lot more sacks than last year. However, I do think it's a little bit of both of what you mentioned. Mahomes trying to play a little bit of hero ball, trying to make a big play because the defense is giving up a lot of points. Offense isn't getting going. So he's trying to extend plays and it's turning into sacks.
And
So,
wide receivers dropping balls, and then his girlfriend, their wife, says that those should count as fumbles. Just a whole lot of drama going around with the wide receivers not catching stuff, running backs fumbling to lose games. So hopefully, for Mahomes' sake and for the Chiefs' sake, they'll be able to turn things around and win that division.
yeah, I mean, I don't think his family's causing him to get sacked. So I don't really.
No. I'm just saying like a whole bunch of like the drama with well, I'm not highlighting the family, just saying how like all this stuff is going around like so he's trying to make more plays because wide receivers can't really catch, running backs are fumbling, and so there's a whole bunch of people outside of Travis Kelce, like Hardman's dropping the ball, Hill is, so it's gotten better, but earlier in the year there were definitely some interceptions that should not have been interceptions.
Well, I'm glad you're admitting that now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the last thing I got for the game plan before we get into our Sunday pick'em is I think Trayvon Diggs is going to be the guy who I'm circling for this week on the defense. I think if Trayvon Diggs plays to the scheme and kind of throws his greedy, aggressive side out the window this game, I think the Cowboys have a good shot at winning. I think if he plays his game and tries to take chances, the Cowboys are not going to win. So he's the guy I'm going to circle on my game plan and kind of circle in when I'm watching. I'm just going to watch what Trayvon Diggs is doing.
Yeah, he's got to be. He has to stay disciplined. There have been a lot of player comps, and one that I saw was Marcus Peters. Definitely stands out because Marcus Peters had a lot of interceptions his first year, but he did give up a lot of yards because of his gambling addiction, as you called it. So Trayvon can resume his gambling ways next or this Thursday, but for this Sunday he should stay out of the casino.
Yeah, but let's move on to Sunday pick'em.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so the first one is Colts versus the Bills.
I will go on a limb and say the Bills will win.
Yeah, so do I. Next, Ravens. We hooping versus the Bears.
I'll take the Ravens.
Me as well. And the first good game of the week, Lions Browns.
Brother, I'll take the Browns.
I have the Lions for that one.
Oh, look at you!
Hopefully, Campbell and company can
getting
get a
risky.
win.
You know what happens when you get risky with your betting, Owen? You lose. That is a pretty risky bet of yours.
I'll take one loss. I think that after last week playing well against the who'd they play?
Mason Rudolph.
Steelers.
They played Mason Rudolph.
Yes. Oh, Mason Rudolph. All right. After that is the Texans Titans. I think we're both going to say Titans on that one.
Yeah, I think the Titans will win.
Packers Vikings.
I'll take the Packers.
Next game after that is the Jets and Dolphins. I have the Jets with Flacco playing. I think he's playing.
I'll take the Dolphins.
Ooh. Let me know when you're ready for the next week.
Yeah. I am a little bit behind. Who did the Bears play again?
The Bears play the Ravens.
Okay, we both had the Ravens for that.
Yep. After that, it's Lions Browns.
Owen took the Lions.
Yep. And then Texans Titans. And then Packers Vikings.
Yeah. All right. I'm caught up now.
I have okay. Saints Eagles. I have the Eagles.
I'll take the Saints.
Panthers Washington. I have the Panthers behind Cameron Newton winning that game.
I'm taking the Panthers as well.
The 49ers versus the Jags. I have the 49ers winning that game.
I do as well.
Bengals Raiders. I have the Bengals. Sorry, I have the Raiders winning that game, and the Bengals going to 5-5.
I have the Bengals. Joe Burrow off the bye week. He's got his dumb turnovers out of the system, and he's gonna make a playoff push.
Oh yeah. After that game is our favorite game of the week, Cowboys Chiefs.
Where Owen
We're
took the
split on that one.
Cowboys, and I took the Chiefs.
Yep. After that one is Cardinals Seahawks. And I'm going to go with the Seahawks because I don't think Kyler Murray's playing.
Yeah, I will take the Seahawks as well.
Okay. If he does play, if Kyler Murray does play, then I pick the Cardinals to win that game.
Okay.
After that, Chargers Steelers. Excuse me. I have the Chargers winning that game.
I will take the Chargers, actually. Is Big Ben playing?
Let me check.
Yeah, he's playing. I'll take the Steelers.
He's not on the injury report. And then the last game of the week for Monday night is Buccaneers and the Giants.
Bucks.
Yep.
Okay. Can you run through the first 3 games again that you said? I think I'm missing
Bills.
2. Okay, yeah. So we both had the Bills.
Mm-hmm. Ravens, Bears.
All right, I'm good now. I got them all.
Alrighty.
So we have the Jets and the Dolphins.
We have a few discrepancies between the two.
So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7. We have 6 for sure differences, maybe 7. So this is quite a big week.
It is. It is indeed. All
right. So anything else you'd like to go through before we sign off?
It's always hard for Dallas because they have like 3 games in a week and a half. It's always difficult for Dallas this time. This is definitely like their hardest just week schedule going on. And I think all 3 games are road games, I believe. So having to fly everywhere, it'll be interesting. But
yeah,
I have faith in Mike McCarthy.
Oh, well, that's a very troubling phrase indeed to hear as we end off this show, is having faith in Mike McCarthy. But all jokes aside, I am pleased with how Mike McCarthy has coached this team. So, however, I still believe that Mike McCarthy is not the greatest. He's not the greatest coach, but he's done a good job so far this year.
He's definitely the best coach in the East.
Yeah, well,
it's not hard to do that.
He's also got by far the best team in the East.
Well, we both had Washington going into the season.
Yes, unfortunately, Washington lost their X factor in the first game. They've been playing with the
Fitz.
Yeah, it's been quite detrimental.
Was not their X factor.
He is the X factor.
All right. Well,
but anyway, yeah. So I think Thanksgiving is always is tough for anyone playing on it. But the Cowboys, back in the day when Tex Schramm was the owner, he made the decision for the Cowboys to always play on Thanksgiving. So if you want to blame someone, blame Tex Schramm. He's your guy. The Dallas Cowboys and the Detroit Lions. That's who we get on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, sadly, we haven't seen Dallas win since 2 years. Because I know that they played the Chargers a few years ago, and they played Carolina in
So the
2015. But
Cowboys
they
have
played
lost.
Washington our freshman year when Amari Cooper had a really big game.
Okay, so I think the last time the Cowboys have won on Thanksgiving is that game
2019.
versus Washington.
Yeah.
Since then, they have lost to
To the
Washington on
Bills last year.
Thanksgiving and also the Bills.
No, they only lost. It's only been 1 year in between. They only lost last year. They haven't lost to Washington on Thanksgiving, I don't think. Last year was the Bills, I believe.
I think they lost to Washington because
Maybe
they played the Bills.
2 years
They
ago.
played the Bills on Thanksgiving when Dak was playing.
Oh, you're right. They got blown out.
They beat Washington the
You're right.
2018-2019 season.
Yeah, so they haven't won in 3 years. They lost last year, 41-16. I forgot. I totally forgot that last season it's a blur.
Well, that's why I'm here.
Well, hopefully y'all have a fun, healthy, and safe Thanksgiving. We will definitely be talking to y'all before that, but we want to wish it to y'all now, and we will continue to wish it until Cowboys' big game on Thursday.
Yeah, and our plan is we are still gonna upload some episodes before Thanksgiving and during that Thanksgiving break. We're gonna have out a Chiefs Cowboys post game show, and then we're also gonna have a pregame show for Thanksgiving. So there's going to be a lot of episodes within the next few days being pumped out. So be tuned for that. You can follow us on All About America's Team on Instagram and America's Team, capital P, capital C. I will be back to tweeting for this Sunday, and the tweets will be coming often, and I will do my best to keep them with a little bit of humor as well. So if the Cowboys are getting blown out, be sure to tune into Twitter because I'll have a lot to say about it in a hilarious way.
Yeah,
But
I will make sure to tell Ray a whole lot of stuff, and maybe if the conversation's good, Ray can put them on the good old Twitter feed, and he can call me out and say how bad my takes are.
Yeah, Owen provides me a lot of ammunition, and it's not even on the air. Usually the ammunition comes just from texting back and forth. So he's been very resourceful when it comes to my tweets. But that's about all we have for today. Thank you very much for watching. As Owen said, have a happy Thanksgiving, and we will talk to you later to break down the Chiefs and then also talk about the Cowboys and the Raiders matchup. So,
yes, we will.
Take care, guys. Go Cowboys. Have a great rest of your week.
Yeah, same here, guys. Have a great rest of your week. Bye.